Imagine this, Victor. You are in a project review. Your department head asks for your recommendation on a new supplier, and you reply, I think we should choose the second option. In that moment, using I think might unintentionally make a solid recommendation sound a bit tentative.
That is true, Emily. In many professional situations, leaders often use clearer and more confident language when presenting ideas backed by experience or data. Small wording changes can significantly improve how your message is received. Welcome back to Business English for Success.
Yes, welcome back, everyone. Today, we will look at workplace situations where you can replace I think with professional alternatives to sound clear, confident, and highly persuasive.
We will also practice how to express opinions, handle disagreements professionally, and make recommendations using real business English. Let's begin.
When presenting a new proposal to a manager, many professionals naturally say, I think this option will work. It is a natural phrase, Victor, but in a room full of decision makers, it can sometimes make your recommendation sound less certain than you intended.
Right, Emily. It is not that I think is incorrect. Native speakers use it every day. Yet in professional discussions, ideas often carry more weight when they are supported by evidence or experience.
Well, how do we make that shift without sounding overly formal or defensive?
Instead of framing the recommendation around a personal belief, you position the statement around past results or verified observations. Let's listen to this corporate discussion to see how to present an idea with confidence and clarity.
Victor, why did your team select this new platform over our current setup?
Based on our Q1 performance review, the data indicates that this platform reduces processing times by 20%.
We have already invested in the current setup. A transition will require team training.
I understand the transition workload, but our preliminary tests suggest that the platform lowers maintenance costs, making it cost-effective within 6 months.
That is a valid point. Send me those test results today.
I will share the brief right after this meeting.
Notice how Victor did not rely on, I think this platform is better. That might have made the proposal sound like a personal preference.
Yes, Emily. Instead of a subjective opinion, we used the data indicates and preliminary tests suggest. These choices signal that you have completed the actual analysis before speaking.
It also protects your professional standing. If circumstances change later, you have not made a wild promise. You have simply stated what the current tests suggest. It is a balanced, responsible way to communicate.
Exactly. When you ground your words in data, you remove yourself from the center of the statement. The conversation becomes about the business facts, which is exactly what senior leadership wants to see.
Let's practice this corporate phrase to help you use it naturally. We will practice this in 2 short parts. First, repeat after me, focusing on the word review. Based on our Q1 performance review,
Great! Now, let's practice the second part, focusing on the word data. The data indicates that this platform is cost-effective.
Well done. Now, what happens when a colleague openly disagrees with your plan during a project review? Saying, I think you are wrong, can quickly create defensive barriers.
Right, Emily. In our next scenario, we will look at how to handle disagreement while keeping the relationship constructive and professional. Let's move to scenario number 2.
Discussions with colleagues can sometimes feel even more challenging than presenting to senior leaders. When a colleague proposes a timeline that seems unrealistic, a common reaction is to say, I think your schedule is too tight, or I think we will face issues.
Right, Emily. While those phrases are clear, they can unintentionally make people feel defensive, turning a productive discussion into an argument.
That is the core challenge, Victor. So how do we express our concerns while keeping the discussion collaborative and focused on solutions?
The key is to frame the disagreement around business priorities and shared goals rather than personal beliefs. By referencing objective operational criteria, you invite your colleague to solve the problem with you. Let's listen to this corporate exchange to see how this works in a real meeting.
Victor, we need to roll out the new onboarding flow next Monday to support our summer campaign.
I understand the target release date. To stay aligned with our quality standards, we may need to review the testing schedule before moving forward.
Well, if we delay the launch, we might miss our monthly user registration targets.
I see the urgency on the marketing side. However, launching without a complete trial run can create support issues, which affect the support team's workload.
That is a fair point. We do not want to overwhelm the support team. Let's consider a staged rollout instead.
That sounds like a practical approach. I will draft a modified timeline for us to review this afternoon.
Notice how Victor did not say, "I think your plan is too rushed," or "I think you are making a mistake." That phrasing would have focused the issue on the colleague's judgment.
Yes, Emily. Instead of making it personal, I used "to stay aligned with our quality standards." This redirects the conversation to a shared business goal that both parties want to achieve.
It also positions you as a strategic partner. You are not saying no to my idea, you are simply highlighting a risk the team needs to address.
That is true. When you highlight how a decision affects other departments, like customer service capacity, you show a mature understanding of how the business functions as a whole.
Let's practice this corporate phrase to help you use it smoothly in your next meeting. We will practice this in 2 short parts. First, repeat after me, focusing on the word aligned. To stay aligned.
Great. Now the second part, focusing on the word standards, with our quality standards.
Excellent clarity. That calm, factual delivery is exactly how you handle disagreement professionally.
Now, what happens when a manager asks for your honest assessment of a colleague's readiness for a promotion or a new role? Saying, "I think they are doing a great job," may sound too general and lack the professional weight that a director expects.
Right, Emily. In our next scenario, we will look at how to deliver a strong performance evaluation using objective business language. Let's move to scenario number 3.
You see, evaluating colleagues is always a delicate task. When a manager asks, "Is Sarah ready to lead the new project?" a common response is, "I think she is doing a great job."
Right, Emily. While that sounds supportive, it lacks the objective weight a director is looking for. It can make your recommendation sound more personal than evidence-based.
Exactly, Victor. So how do we provide an evaluation that sounds objective and authoritative?
We redirect our focus from a personal opinion to observable results and work history. This protects your professional standing as a manager and shows that you pay close attention to performance over time. Let's listen to this corporate discussion to see how this works.
Victor, our department head wants to know if Sarah is ready to lead the regional account.
Based on her project delivery over the past quarter, she has consistently met her quality benchmarks.
It is a demanding role. The client can be difficult to manage under pressure.
I understand that requirement. Her recent handling of the Q1 review showed that she remained professional under pressure.
That is a fair point. She kept the discussion on track during that meeting.
Certainly. I will compile her performance brief for the director to review this afternoon.
Notice how Victor did not say, "I think she is ready," or "I think she is great." That phrasing would make the recommendation sound subjective.
That is right, Emily. Instead, we used "based on her project delivery" and "consistently met her quality benchmarks." These choices show that you have actual outcomes to support your evaluation.
It also makes your recommendation easier for leadership to evaluate. They are looking at facts and evidence, not just your personal beliefs.
Indeed. When you focus on clear outcomes, you show that you evaluate team members based on professional standards rather than personal preferences.
Let's practice this useful phrase to help you deliver confident assessments. First, repeat after me, focusing on the word delivery. Based on her project delivery.
Excellent.
Now, let's practice the second part, focusing on the word benchmarks. She has consistently met her quality benchmarks.
Fantastic.
If this approach to professional English is helpful, consider liking the video so other working professionals can discover these lessons.
Now, how do you point out a serious risk in a project timeline without sounding like you are panicking or complaining? For instance, saying the phrase, "I think we are going to fail," can quickly damage team morale.
Right, Victor. In our final scenario, we will look at how to highlight operational risks professionally using business facts. Let's move to scenario number 4. Our previous scenario focused on team evaluations. Now, let's explore a different challenge that many of us face, pointing out a potential delay in a project timeline.
Yes, Emily. When a deadline is at risk, it can be tempting to say, "I think we may miss the deadline," or "I am not sure we can meet the deadline." While that sounds honest, it can sometimes feel overly negative and may unintentionally lower team confidence.
Exactly, Victor. So how can we highlight an operational risk without sounding negative?
We focus on the operational factors affecting the timeline. By pointing to specific business constraints, such as staffing capacity or shifting priorities, you encourage solution-focused discussion. Let's listen to this corporate exchange to see how this works in a real meeting.
Victor, are we still on track to launch the new client platform by next Friday?
Based on our current resource allocation, the development phase is running slightly behind schedule.
That is concerning. If we miss next Friday, we might affect our Q3 marketing campaign.
I understand the timing concern. To manage this risk, we can adjust our launch scope or reassign 2 developers from the maintenance team.
Reassigning developers seems like a practical option. Let's check their current workload to see if we can make that adjustment.
Perfect. I will coordinate with the team lead and update the project plan by this afternoon.
Notice how Victor did not say, "I think we are going to miss the deadline," or "I think we can't do it." That phrasing may unintentionally make the situation feel more negative than it needs to be.
That is true, Allie. Instead, I used, "Based on our current resource allocation, the development phase is running slightly behind schedule." This redirects the conversation from a negative prediction to a practical business variable that senior managers can help resolve.
It also shows that you are already looking for solutions. When you mention options like adjusting the scope or reassigning team members, you prove that you are managing the risk, not just reporting a problem to me.
That is right. Senior leadership wants to know about risks early, but they want those risks presented alongside practical alternatives. This approach shows a mature understanding of project management.
Let's practice this useful phrase to help you raise concerns professionally. We will repeat this in 2 short parts. First, repeat after me, focusing on the word resource. Based on our current resource allocation.
Great focus. Now let's try the second part, focusing on the word schedule. The development phase is running slightly behind schedule.
Excellent. Now that we have covered all 4 office scenarios, it is time to put your skills to the test.
Yes, we are moving to our quick interactive challenge, where we will test how quickly you can replace "I think" on the spot. Let's see how quickly you can adapt your phrasing like a confident professional. Let's begin.
Welcome to our quick interactive challenge. This is where we put your professional reflexes to the test.
We have 3 everyday office situations. You will hear a common statement using "I think," and you will have 3 seconds to replace it with a professional alternative before we share our suggestion. Let's begin.
Situation number 1. Your manager asks when your report will be ready. Instead of saying, "I think I can finish it tomorrow," what would you say?
Time's up. A stronger alternative is, based on our current progress, the report should be ready by tomorrow morning.
Notice how this redirects the focus to current progress, which sounds much more reliable than a personal guess. Situation number 2. You need to reschedule a team alignment meeting because some team members are unavailable. Instead of saying, I think we should move the meeting to Friday. How would you frame it? Time's up. You can say, to ensure everyone has the latest updates, let's move the meeting to Friday morning.
Well done. Leading with the practical benefit, ensuring we have all key updates, makes the schedule change sound necessary and well-planned.
Situation number 3. A colleague asks if the new design tool is worth using. Instead of saying, I think the new tool is much better, what is your response?
Time's up. A highly professional way to say this is, based on early team feedback, this tool seems to improve our workflow.
Spot on. Citing early team feedback instead of just your personal view makes your assessment sound grounded and objective. How many of these did you get right? Which of these phrases do you think you will actually use at work this week? We would love to hear your experiences. Share your thoughts in the comment section below, and we will jump in to discuss them with you. Strong communication can quietly change your career. Keep practicing and keep growing. If you want to continue upgrading your career communication, consider subscribing to Business English for Success.
Thank you for practicing with us today. See you in our next session. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.